Everyone thinks Flash became fast because of a lightning strike. A bolt crashes through a laboratory window. Chemicals spill in the room. Electricity surges through Barry Allen's body. And just like that, a superhero is born. At least, that's the version most people know. It's simple. It's easy to understand. And it happens to be one of the biggest misconceptions in DC history. Because the lightning didn't truly create the Flash. It only opened a door. The real story begins with something far stranger, something far more powerful, and honestly, something that changes the way you see Barry Allen forever. What most people miss is that the accident gave Barry access to something that already existed long before he was born. A force that exists beyond ordinary space, beyond ordinary time, and beyond the rules that govern everyone else. Before he was the fastest man alive, Barry Allen was simply a man trying to help people. A forensic scientist, a son, someone who believed that every mystery had an answer if you looked hard enough. But life had already taught him that some wounds never completely heal. In many versions of his story, the murder of his mother becomes the defining tragedy of his life. It's the reason he becomes obsessed with finding answers, the reason he dedicates himself to uncovering the truth. Long before he could run through walls or race across continents, Barry was already chasing something. Justice, closure, a way to make sense of loss. And maybe that's what makes him such a compelling hero. His story doesn't begin with power. It begins with pain. Like so many great heroes, Barry's greatest strength is born from the thing that hurt him most. Then came the night that changed everything. Lightning shattered the darkness. Chemicals exploded around him. The world saw an accident. But the deeper truth is much more fascinating. The accident didn't create speed. It connected Barry to the Speed Force. In DC Comics, the Speed Force is a cosmic energy field connected to motion itself. It exists everywhere and everywhen. It flows through reality like an invisible current. Most people think of speed as moving from one place to another. The Speed Force is something much larger. It is motion at its most fundamental level. It touches energy, momentum, time, and possibility. Barry didn't simply gain the ability to run faster than everyone else. He became a living conduit for one of the most powerful forces in the entire DC universe. That's why his powers often seem impossible, even by superhero standards. Running fast doesn't explain how he phases through solid walls. Running fast doesn't explain how he can perceive the world in fractions of a second while everyone else appears frozen. And it certainly doesn't explain how he can travel through time. Those abilities exist because Barry isn't merely using speed. He's channeling the Speed Force itself. Every step he takes taps into an energy source that exists beyond conventional physics. What looks like running is actually something much stranger. Barry Allen isn't just moving through space. In many ways, he's interacting with reality differently than everyone else around him. And that's where the story becomes both inspiring and terrifying. Because every gift comes with a price. The Speed Force doesn't just allow Barry to run faster. It gives him access to things no human being was ever meant to touch. Time, history, cause, and effect. Most heroes fight villains. Barry sometimes fights the consequences of his own choices. The greatest example is the Flashpoint event. Driven by grief and love for his mother, Barry goes back in time to save her life. It's an act any son can understand. Who wouldn't want one more chance to save someone they love? Who wouldn't want to erase the worst day of their life? But that single decision fractures reality itself. Entire histories change. And all of it happens because Barry discovers a painful truth. Changing the past doesn't just affect yesterday. It affects everyone who come after. His greatest enemy isn't always a supervillain. Sometimes it's temptation. The temptation to fix what cannot be fixed. The temptation to undo pain. The temptation to believe that enough power can erase regret. But life doesn't work that way. And Barry learns that lesson again and again. No matter how fast he becomes, there are some things he cannot outrun. Grief, responsibility, consequences. That's why his story resonates with so many people. Beneath the lightning, beneath the impossible speed, beneath the cosmic energy fields, Barry Allen faces the same struggle that ordinary people do. The desire to go back and change one terrible moment. The desire to undo a mistake. The desire to save someone we lost. The difference is that Barry actually has the power to try. And he learns that power doesn't always make those easier. What most fans overlook is that Speed Force almost feels selective. Throughout DC history, many speedsters have been connected to it, but Barry occupies a unique place within its mythology. In several stories, he is described not simply as someone who uses the Speed Force, but as one of its most important conduits. The connection runs so deep that some stories even suggest the Speed Force and Barry are linked in ways that blur the line between source and user. And maybe that's why villains never fully understand him. They see speed, they see power, they see a man who can cross the planet in seconds. But that's not what truly makes Barry dangerous. His greatest strength isn't his ability to move quickly. It's his refusal to stop moving forward. Every loss he experiences, every mistake he makes, every timeline he breaks and struggles to repair, he keeps going. He keeps trying. He keeps believing tomorrow can be better than today. That's what the Flash represents at his core. Momentum. Hope in motion. The belief that no matter how difficult life becomes, standing still is not the answer. So the next time someone says the Flash was created by lightning strike, remember the deeper truth hidden inside the story. The lightning was real, the accident happened, but that wasn't the moment Barry Allen became powerful. It was the moment he was chosen to carry a force larger than himself, chosen to become a bridge between humanity and something cosmic, chosen to bear responsibilities most people could never imagine. The lightning opened the door. The Speed Force stepped through it. And from that moment forward, Barry Allen was never just a man who could run fast. He became living proof that sometimes the most important thing in life isn't how fast you move. It's what keeps you moving at all. And that's why the Flash was never truly created by lightning. He was chosen by something far greater.